those as well. Um, so before we get into the Q&A, one thing practically speaking, there is still time. There is still time between now and Christmas for you to get a sale in the water, for you to let your audience know you are having a sale, for you to actually have and run a sale and try and squeeze some of the juice that's left out of the end of the year. Um, we've been doing this for years and years now. Pretty much without question, here's how it goes. You have an average number of sales that take place. And let's just say if I average out all of my customers' sales across all the various different websites and all the various different niches, and let's just say you have a normal average of sales for the first 9 months of the year, which is more or less true. October, the sales double. November, the sales triple. So, if it's 1, it goes to 2. If it's 1, it goes to 3. December, this period that we're in now, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, that's all dusted now. But from now till Christmas, and really for most people, it's from now until you can still feasibly ship something and get it under the tree, there's still a 1.5 multiple. So, you are slated. You can either look at the math as you're 1.5 times more likely to get a sale between now and Christmas, or you can look at it as the revenue will be 1.5 times higher. Point being, it's worth it. So I know some of you guys are like, sale? What the hell is that? How do I do that? I've never run one. I don't have any inventory. What are you talking about? I'm just trying to get my act together and get started. But for others of you, okay, you've run a sale before and you have some social media following, and you can potentially let people know that from now till the 16th or the next 8 days, because I can still ship orders, here's what I'm offering for Christmas, and run a deal. And the reason I'm saying this before I go into anything else, you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? This is a presentation. There's no better time than right now. Aside from the last 2 months, but still right now is one of the best times to have a sale between now and Christmas. Okay, I'm done with my rant. If you guys can do that, if you have questions about how to put together the sale, if you're contemplating what a sale should look like, do you post on the social, should you run a live art show, any of those questions, I'm happy to get into those questions. But run a sale, okay? Run a sale. I don't even care. This has got nothing to do with signing up. It has to do with there is no better time all year long than the last 3 months of the year for creatives such as yourselves to get a sale in the water and attempt to prosper from it. And also, by the way, because I talked to hundreds of you guys, what do most of you do? You get busy during the holidays like the rest of us, right? You just made it through Thanksgiving, dealt with your family, everything else. It was awesome, great, fantastic. Now you're like, okay, Christmas parties, ugly sweater parties, whatever the heck else you're doing. And then the next thing you know, it's all gone. So I'm just banging the drum to let you know it's a serious time of year. Okay. We'll get into the Q&A. It's going to start out with today with Courtney. Courtney, you are up first. Go ahead. You'll have to unmute, Courtney, which usually just means click on the microphone icon.
Yep. Sorry, I was trying to type and drop it. I was just wondering, everything that I looked from the Facebook link that for this company, it looked like it was for print artists. And it looked like it just went to print shops. So I don't do that. I do 3D, like hands-on, one-of-a-kind pieces from recycled materials. Okay. Sounds like from what you said, it would still work for that.
Yeah. So, all of the software and sort of our DNA and sort of where we emerged from as a company is for those that are selling wall art, everything from originals to limited editions to prints and all of that in between. So there's a number of features on the website that are custom set up to do that. That being said, though, it's also just an e-commerce shopping cart like all of our competitors have, right? So we have people that are selling virtual classes. We have people that are selling in-person classes. We have people that are selling books, and we have people that are selling DVDs, which I don't know why they're doing that. I don't even have a DVD. Does anyone even have a DVD player anymore? There are people that are selling merch of every single solitary color stripe imaginable, and so when you sort of zoom out and you look at the whole thing, one, you can sell anything you want. Two, after you get through, whether or not it looks cool on the wall or not, you still have the same marketing problem that everyone else has, right? You still need to work on your marketing regardless of what it is that you're selling. So yes, you can sell any of those other things. And two, your biggest problem is still the marketing problem. And that's where we pull our weight, perhaps even more so than the software.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And just out of curiosity, what's with the chemical formula in terms of an avatar? Is that the type of stuff?
I because I jumped on this really quick, and this is my work account. That's actually the chemical formula for naltrexone. My paying job
Got it.
is I'm a counselor for substance use disorder.
Awesome. So this is some sort of like fancy hydrocarbon I'm staring at, or something.
That's naltrexone. Yeah,
Naltrexone.
it's a drug to help with cravings.
Got it.
It's something we specialize in.
Got it. Awesome. Well, I've never seen that before, so I had to call it out. Very, very cool avatar nonetheless. Very cool avatar nonetheless. Thanks, Courtney. So I imagine, Kathleen, that probably answers your question as well, because you had sort of the same question as Courtney did. But what else? Who's got questions? And again, if no one raises their hand because you guys were brave and decided to turn your camera. Oh, okay, there we go. Jen jumped on. That's going to save me from picking on you, John, and you, Marta, next, which I am not above doing. Okay, I will poke and prod, but let's get to Jen next. Jen, you're up next.
Okay, wouldn't let me unmute. So I'm a photographer, self-photography. I started an Etsy site. Probably I was looking back. I think it was July.
Okay.
I've had all of about 3 sales. It's kind of, which is exciting, but
I know.
It's the marketing is kind of what drew me to move into you guys. I think I'm very, very curious about hearing more about what you do with that, what the 365 plan is.
Yep.
I thought that was a really interesting way the guys were doing an art show.
Yes.
I think my question is, how do you do that as a photographer? My photographs are sold as is. I don't have inventory.
Yep.
I sell different mediums, prints, metals, canvases, whatever, and then I basically send the order into the lab as soon as they're ordered. So
yep.
What are some workaround ways, or what are I'm sure you're not going to give away all the marketing tips, because that's what you want us to pay for, but I'm curious to hear a little bit more about
small samples that you hold in your hand just like this.
The what?
Small samples that you hold in your hand just like this. That's it, right? The beautiful thing about small samples is, and this is, what is this? This has got to be like a 10 inches by maybe even an 8 by 10. It's a little bit smaller than a piece of paper. This is really easy to hold on camera, isn't it? And I have one of those fancy webcams. You guys wait till you see this technology, okay? With a really impressive zoom. Hey guys, check this out. Look at the detail on this one, right? So with the small ones, you can do that, and it works totally fine. But you do have to have some inventory on hand to sell. And the reason that you have to have some inventory on hand to sell, the reason that one of the primary mistakes, top 3 here, okay, top 3 that photographers make is thinking normal human beings have your created brains, okay? You're not selling 2D images. None of you photographers are selling 2D images. And yet, when I go to your Instagram handles, and John, I was looking at yours during the chat, or when I go to your website and when I look at your marketing material, what do I see? 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image. Guess what I see on everyone else's pages? 2D image after 2D image after 2D image. It's dull. It's boring. It doesn't stick out. It doesn't matter how good your photograph is when I'm bombarded with that all day. But guess what happens when you hold something like this and you show something like this? This is physical. This is real. I can actually covet something like this. I can actually visualize something like this going on my wall. This is what you sell. You're not selling a 2D image. So start showing these things off. Start holding them. Start telling me what constitutes the difference between acrylic and metal. Most people don't know. Most don't know that they're both ready to hang. Most don't know that one's thicker than the other, right? Or the fact that you can put your stuff on wood. Some people hate wood. I love wood. It doesn't matter. When you showed the samples, when you showed that it's something real, when it's you smiling and holding it, or better still, a customer holding it going, oh, thank you so much. Right? So that's the merchandising of it is a huge, huge, huge thing. And it is just so insanely important. I think, I don't know if I showed, did I show it? I don't think I did show it in the thing. Sometimes I forget what I showed, what I didn't show. I'm going to pull up, because this gal does such a great job in merchandising. So one of the first, call it paying customers that we had for a live art show, and we have like an internal marketing agency at the company, right? And so in addition to everything else that we do, you can go to the agency and buy one-off services or hosted services or whatever, and just bear with me, I'm finding the video here. And so this gal who's a customer, she signed up for one of the very first, and her name's Her name's Carol Parker, and she's run 4 of these shows now, maybe 5 of these shows. And she has a really interesting niche in her photography in the sense that there's still wild horses that run around the western United States, and they're totally wild on like BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. And I finally got to it. And
Instagram for coming tonight.
The farmers and ranchers are not happy about this, and they're asking the federal government to attempt to cull them. Oh yeah, here I gotta pull it in here. Actually, sorry, I wasn't ready on my show today, but there's a rhyme and a reason for this, and it applies to everyone. The reason I'm bringing all this up is because it's a mega hot button issue right now. These wild horses, because the federal government is trying to kill them. The people that love the horses are trying to save the horses. But why isn't this playing HD? Come on. She does a really, really good job in terms of photography of having all of this in the background, right? And this is just in her normal studio. And once whatever's derping out with YouTube, you can actually see this in high quality. Why isn't it doing high quality? And so she has bigger ones to show. And the reason I'm showing you this in contrast to the tiny little samples I was showing you is sometimes it does help to have the big dogs and to be able to show off the big dogs, right? Because, you know, she's going through, why is my quality so crappy today? Everything is just, oh, there we go. Now it's resolved, but looks pretty compelling, right? Like, she's got all her horses behind her, right? And you can see all of the horses and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Look at how incredible this is. And then she's holding the prints and she's talking about why she loves metal or why she loves canvas or why she loves acrylic, this, that, and the other. And then let me just pull this up because I want to show all of this to you. And she said I could brag about the numbers, and I'm going to brag about the numbers. Mostly because I'm like the biggest advocate you will find, period, full stop, for the power of these live art shows, which is just absolute insanity. So, all right, let me show this. And then I'll be done with my rant. So we released the service, right? Which is, we help you run a live art show. You don't need this at all. You can totally run it on your own, but she has kind of like a decent sized social media following. So it's helpful in her case. So her first show, okay. And no previous experience. This is not a woman that does a ton of art shows or anything of the like, right? She's, you know, all photographers have insane video cameras. That's like the one advantage you guys have, because every one of those things is an SLR and you guys have insane glass. And so it looks broadcast quality on that component, but that's the only reason the picture looks so good. But look at her results. First show, okay, March 24th of this year. She sold 6 pieces, $1,800. First one, AOV is average order value, so that's that average order size. Second show was on June 21st. One of the things that we do from a marketing standpoint is we love water skiing on other people's deals. And one of the biggest e-commerce holidays in the United States, thanks to good old Jeff Bezos, is Prime Day. And so we have all our customers run a Prime Day sale because it's just a great time to get a sale in the water. So that's what this sale was. She did $6,600 at this one, sold 49 pieces. And then her last one, which was her third one she's ever done, okay, which was 10/7, 27,000. 27,000 one show. Didn't even have to leave her studio. Absolutely amazing. Staggering what you can achieve on these things. And you really got me on a long rant there about the merchandising, but you should, I'm going to send you that video afterwards. I want you to watch it. Just see how she talks about it. You're going to go like, wait a minute, I can do that. I can totally do that. I could totally do that right now. I just need to get the prints in my hands. I lost you. I lost your audio. I don't know what happened. You mute or something.
I muted myself.
Yeah. There we go. I'm not even sure where I went with that. I'm kind of in a ranty mood today. Did you, I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one aspect of the marketing. It's that's the biggest struggle I have found at this point, is just, getting your name out there, obviously. And,
100%. And you and every other artist. I mean, it's the number one problem that we solve for, because it's the number one problem, right? Number one, you've never marketed consistently in your life, right? Everyone thinks they market consistently, and everyone treats it like the gym membership New Year's resolution, right? This is going to be my year. I'm really going to do it. And then January ends, and then you're going to the gym one day a week, and then February comes and you go once, right? And then it's like, one, you have to do it consistently. 2, you have to focus on the high ROI stuff. That's hard to know what that is. There's so many shiny objects, so many distractions. We know what those are, so we have data. And then you just have to go through the pulling your hair, your head year 1 of learning how to do all the above. how to capture emails, how to email the emails, the basic fundamentals of omni-channel marketing. The email copy matches the social posting, matches the other social posting, matches the ads. So it all, it's all channels all at once. You have to learn how to run the live art shows. You have to learn how to execute a sale, which is way harder than you think it is. What is the discount? What is the scarcity? How do you tease it? How do you announce it? How do you go through it? How do you end it? What do you do during? What do you do before or after? All that. So there's a lot to learn there. But once you kind of crash through that first year, it becomes easier and you start getting momentum and it becomes a beautiful thing. And yes, we teach you how to do all the above.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you should go see a demo. I don't know if you've done that yet. Have you done that already?
Yeah, I saw a demo yesterday.
Nice. Who ran it?
Oh God, I can't remember. I'm lucky to remember my children's names. I can't remember.
No, yeah, you and I would get along. I am the worst. I am the worst. Names and dates.
Wait, no, I think I just signed up for the demo. I've been watching a bunch of the videos. And
you would know. The demo is like it's like our test drive the car, peek behind the curtain.
I signed up for it, so I haven't done it yet.
All right, good. Do that. We can help you for sure. But thank you, Jen. Okay. John's up next. And John was talking with me in the chat just for some context, and he does photography in boudoir photography. And what I was starting to tell him, which I want to establish, is that your niche is tough because despite what Facebook and Instagram tell you, Facebook and Instagram will shadow ban your images so no one can see them. They will give you bans for no reason at all. They will not let you run advertisements despite what they tell you. And so you have your own complications as a result of that a little bit, right? But every niche is different. Every niche has sort of its cross to bear. But anyway, yeah. Am I going crazier? Am I going crazier? Or did you change locations?
I moved. I was laying on the couch, being very comfortable, and now I've moved to the kitchen table.
All right, good. You went business status. What's up? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm just starting out. I picked up a camera in May of last year, and now I'm trying to make money.
Okay.
I've only made a little bit. I've sold 2 of my photos, framed and everything, but it's not enough. I'm fortunate enough to have a sugar mama.
Okay.
She provides for us. She's active duty military, and it's very difficult to market.
Yep.
I've been out in public. I had one Instagram page, and it was just kind of everything. Anything I take a picture of that I have permission to post, I would post. So you would have a house on one page and then somebody half nude on another.
Yeah.
And then I had friends that told me that they couldn't follow me. So I ended up making a separate Instagram page so that some people wouldn't be offended by my content. And now it's becoming like I'm just trying to get traction on that.
Yep. And instead of one kid to babysit, now you have 2 kids to babysit.
I actually have 3 because I have
your personal account too.
I'm trying to do personal account. I'm trying to do YouTube. I'm trying to do all of these things, and it's already a lot to manage.
Yeah.
And just getting customers is tough.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So if I don't have products to sell, it's really hard to even run an ad or do anything like that. So I'm trying to get the very basic done, is get the attention first.
Yes, 100%. So just out of curiosity, because this will help with my advice. Do you have a service-based component to the business then? Are these people paying you to take these various different shots, or are you just doing the stuff for free and then trying to sell it after the fact? You muted yourself, I think, John. Oh, you had it, and then so just click the mic icon one more time. I'll let you know when you get it. I can't hear you. You're still muted, brother. Yep, got you now. So did you hear me? So is there a service-based component to the business? No. Okay. You need to get a service-based component to the business, because early on, when you're just trying to get some traction and you're just trying to get some dollars in, the sugar mama notwithstanding, congratulations on that. You could probably write a book on how to do that, and that would sell. I'm just kidding. God bless your wife for her service. get a service-based component to the business. Okay. Early on, you're hustling any which way to Sunday. You're letting all your friends and family know that you're a photographer, that you can do whatever. I don't care. You'll do AYSO pictures, Christmas cards, holiday cards, whatever. Take pictures of the dog, whatever they want, right? Get that because you want some income coming in. And that income is important early on to get you some traction and to get your name out there. Lets everyone know that you're doing your thing. All the while, essentially just gives you some air cover to start slow cooking the print side of the business, right? If you're going to stay on the boudoir thing, the boudoir thing is interesting. There's definitely a niche there. There's definitely people that really, really love that. And if you can control the printing component of it, it gives you an even bigger business opportunity, which is
one
nice,
of the problems I'm coming across is that a lot of people don't want prints. Especially in that kind of market, what they want is digital content. They're taking the stuff that I'm charging for, and then they're going and reselling it. So they've created themselves an OnlyFans page, and now they've basically invested in themselves. Yeah. They've taken these nice photos, the ones who
and that's okay. That's okay as long as you're charging. As long as you're charging for that. Now, number one, we might get in some questionable areas here with your significant other. Okay, so temper that advice that way as you will. But I would say, as explosive as those accounts are, the growth in that particular industry and with that particular website, you probably could earn a very decent service-based income if you were their go-to, content, whatever, right? Again, you're going to need to have an extremely understanding partner to pull that off. And so I wish you the best in that department, but that is a rising opportunity for certain. So you could look for that service-based component to fuel the business while you're figuring out the fine art portion. Yeah.
Fortunately, my wife, she agrees with all the stuff that I'm doing. We're doing it for the right reasons. I'm not just trying to make money. It's a service to other people. And that's what I want to continue to do. I had one person who made me feel cheap and said it's pornography, and it's absolutely not. But it's even harder to market yourself when some people will find the content offensive. But they also have to understand that this content isn't.
I would not. In today's day and age, people find everything offensive. If you're not offending somebody, you're not making a statement, honestly. So don't worry about that in the slightest, honestly. Don't even waste a second worrying about that. Yeah.
So I'm not concerned with it as much as I am some of the other people who won't follow my page before I separated the pages, they said they couldn't follow me on one Instagram page because I also fight jujitsu. The jujitsu pictures and action photos that I've taken, they can't follow me because they'll go to their page and want to show their significant other, and then like, why is this dude got all these women on his page? I've separated
early on, dude. These are the doubters and the haters and the whatevers that'll get in your head and get you off your path. Don't worry about that. It's all noise. If you want it bad, you got to just keep grinding at it. My advice though for this next period of time is get a service-based component to the business. However you do that, right? Because you need that income coming in, and then you can kind of continue on your path because you're still figuring it out. You don't know if you always want to be the boudoir guy or not. You're still just barely into this when you're slightly over a year, right? Or you said you pick up the camera in March of this year.
May of last year, but I actually I haven't taken a picture of a single person until August of last year.
Yeah.
And
you're less than a year. You're super new to this whole thing. So my very near short-term advice for you, no joke, is to get the service-based component to the business going, right? Charge a couple $100 per shoot. See what these folks have to say. Don't stop doing stuff for free. Early on, you can do stuff for free because that gets you going and gets you rolling, but you don't necessarily have to do that, right? Like you can run around outside and shoot what you want and not have it be for free. So that's what I would say. You got to get you have to get some revenue.
Having a kid, if I didn't have a kid, I'd go right back into policing. But I have a 6-year-old son, and I don't want to have to pay for daycare. I want to be able to. We've already made so many sacrifices being a military family and have to travel across the world. And now we're closer to family than we have been in the last 12 years. So I don't want to make more sacrifices by having a full-time job that won't allow me the opportunity to travel back and forth and go and see people.
100%.
So I really only have 3 years to make this into something that's successful. Then my son will be old enough to take care of himself while daddy goes and makes real money.
I love it.
So I want this to really succeed.
I love it. I love it. And start download and listen to my podcast too. Start at that first episode and go all the way up. Just listen to it when you're driving, doing this, that, or the other. There's a ton of gold in there that you can start bolting into the thing. But get some revenue coming immediately. You have to be like a shark going directly to the revenue. And I would shoot whatever. I would be like, yep, you want me to shoot your fence? I'll shoot your fence. I don't care. Right? Like early on, photographer to hire and hammer your network, hammer your network.
I just realized that I'm not a wedding photographer or any kind of big event. So I've said no to a couple of things.
Stop saying no. Start saying yes to all of them. And then just quote the price. And then if the thing goes completely sideways, just lower the price.
All right.
Yeah, it's all good. I did that early on in my career. I'm definitely an amateur photographer. I mean, I studied it in college and I've been super into cameras my whole life. I'm not trying to make anything out of it. But my one buddy was like, hey, I need you to shoot my wedding. Will you do it? And I was like, yeah, fine, I'll do it. I took the gig, and I was going to go to the wedding anyway. And he was mostly stoked, but I was just so bored. And admittedly, I had a few beers by the time that the speeches, it was winding down, the speeches, and at night, and I didn't want to crank the ISO up on my camera high enough. And so some of the pictures were a little dark at the tail end, but you know what? He was still happy. So there we go. Yes, Marta, it's on Spotify. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. It's good. But who else? Questions? Marta, you had questions about copyright. Is that correct? Let me see what else somebody else just typed in. Many in the chat, one saying, okay, I'm scrolling up. Sorry, I'm going through the ones in the chat. What are some examples of attention-getting methods, Cynthia? That's a good question. Yeah, there's a ton, Cynthia. So like what we advocate is a combination of in-person stuff with, well, I should just say it's just general fundamental marketing. But I would say, we have some customers that are doing fairs and shows. We have some customers that are hanging their art in doctor's offices or in restaurants, or they're in co-op galleries. We have some customers that are doing it all digitally. Some customers are doing a combination of the two. A lot of what we do early on to get the ball rolling centers around print discounts. Not print discounts, but print giveaways. And you incentivize a certain group, and the winner will get a free print, and people enter, and they get on your list. A lot of it just centers around doing consistent and regular marketing, right? Like there's a number of ways that we teach you to capture emails, and then you email the emails regularly and consistently, and you post on the socials regularly and consistently, and bit by bit, follower by follower, fan by fan, email by email, you grow the list. And it turns out it doesn't matter whether you're big or small. Do you know how email lists are grown, Cynthia? One email at a time. One email at a time. Is it a grind? Yes, it is. But it is way, way worth it because when you do, your business actually grows. All right, so Kathleen's saying, I also do therapy, life coach, health coach work. How could I incorporate marketing in my mental health services? Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it is like marketing fundamentally at the end of the day is just about getting attention, right? And so once you learn how to do that and you get more effective at doing that, it doesn't matter what you apply that marketing heft and knowledge to. So you get a marketing education with us, so you could apply it to anything else that you're doing, selling your mental health classes or anything else. So yeah. Yes, Courtney, I will send that video. Don't worry. It'll be after the fact. She was asking for the video of the live art show. Kathleen's asking, what is the best camera phone for photography? That's like, what's the best mattress to sleep on at night? It's different for everybody a little bit. So that's above my scope. That's what Google is for. Robert's asking attention examples, please. Robert, I'm not sure I understand what that is, so I'm going to try to unmute you. Robert B, you can hit your unmic and then let me know on that.
There you go.
Yep, gotcha. So what did you ask? Attention examples? What do you mean?
Well, on the bottom of the pyramid was getting attention.
Yes.
And so some good examples, because I've been an artist for a long time, but I'm 70 years old and I'm ready to get out and really do more.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I just need some really good ideas of how to get the attention.
Yeah, 100%. So, and again, it's different for everybody, right? Because everyone's got a different set of circumstances that, can be an advantage or a disadvantage to them, right? And
Right.
it starts with all the various different ways that you would get attention in an offline capacity. Doing fairs, doing shows, doing gallery shows, doing co-ops, setting up a table in a parking lot, guerrilla status, whatever you have to bear. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. Art in restaurants, art in doctor's offices. Once you figure out what those sources are, there's obviously some intelligent techniques and tactics that you can use to get more out of it, right? That's in the in-person capacity. And what do I mean? You can use QR codes that direct directly back to your website. You can use QR codes that go directly into email capture. If you've got a show or a fair going on, you get some balloons, you get a fishbowl or a clipboard. You let people know that there's going to be a print giveaway. All they have to do to enter is drop their business card in the fishbowl or fill out the clipboard with the email address. After the show ends, you give the print away. Everyone else gets a discount on your work, and then you just turn something where you wouldn't have captured any emails into 50, 100, 200, 300 emails. We have people doing that all the time. Once you get into the digital capacity, okay, we use a lot of the same tricks and hacks just in a digital capacity, right?
Right.
And so it early on, especially the first year, you're doing a ton of that, right? You're asking friends and family to share it with their friends, and some of the stuff works better than others. But really, everyone always gravitates towards, like, the way the human mind is wired. We all gravitate towards, like, what's the secret, what's the hack, what's the trick, right?
Right.
Do you know what I
Of
found the
course.
trick is? It's how many arrows you pull out of your back and fire. Some of them are going to miss wildly, but you know what? You just keep firing and firing and firing and firing consistently. And one, we teach you which ones to fire. And then two, we scream, yell, poke, prod, cajole, emotionally encourage you to keep doing that all year long, which really, to be honest with you, if there's one secret, it's just that. It's not how many hours a week. It's not how many arrows you fire. It's how many arrows you fire a week, 52 weeks in a row, right? Which no one ever does. So that's what I would say. That's sort of the secret sauce of what we teach.
Very good. Makes sense.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it is rewarding when you do it.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert.
You bet.
Okay. So Lily's saying her social media posts don't get too much action. I know, Lily, I know. We all remember the good old days where everyone that followed us would see 100% of our posts, right? Oh, that was so enjoyable. Lily, I'm unmuting you just so you can respond. That's the funny thing about Facebook and Instagram, and being a huge computer nerd and a digital marketer my whole life, and understanding how these relationships work, i.e., early on, Facebook needed us a lot more than we needed Facebook, right? And so they were encouraging us all to sign up. And then everyone that we would follow, we would see 100% of their posts, and they would see 100% of our posts. And then the power dynamics shifted, and Facebook didn't need us anymore. We needed them. And all of a sudden, nothing, right? That's why I rant about owned attention versus rented attention, right? Like, depending if you really want to be cynical about it, you can say Facebook and Instagram are out to screw you, so all you need to do is attempt to spend all your time screwing them, right? Or you could say it's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, we're both taking things. They're taking content from you and keeping eyeballs on their platform, and so your job is to take as many eyeballs away from them, which is probably a more diplomatic way of saying it and doing it. But the arrow analogy sort of registers. Like, early on, you don't know what content you're going to post is going to resonate, right? So you need to post a bunch of different content. Some of it resonates better than others and doesn't work out. But ultimately, Lily, Facebook and Instagram have a free plan and they have a paid plan. No one ever talks about this. No one publishes this, but it's true. There's two plans. The free plan, you guys already all know about it. You're all on it. The paid,
I had no idea.
I know. The paid plan is when you run ads on Facebook and Instagram to warm audiences. Okay, let me define warm audiences. Just think of people that have met you before, right? Like, if you had a party at your house and you invited a bunch of people, there would be everyone in that house, from your best friend that knows everything about you in the entire world to somebody that you just met last weekend and you thought was cool, right? So everybody in that house is considered a warm audience. What do I mean, really? Everyone on your email list, everyone that comes to your website, everyone that's engaged with a post last 365 days Facebook, last 365 days Instagram. You put all of those people in one bucket and you say, hey, Facebook, hey, Instagram, I'm going to pay you to show my posts to the people in those buckets. And what that essentially does is it takes us back to the good old days where almost 100% of the people that follow us actually see our posts. And after you've sold a couple $1,000s in art from your website, you get onto this paid plan and you don't ever come off of it. So that's probably a little deflating because you're like, what the hell? I'm not there yet. But that's the long and the short of it.
That's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. How many pieces have you sold, Lily? Or are you just getting started? You sound super young.
I just started my website about 2 months ago, and I've sold about 4 pieces. They're all to family members, and
okay.
I feel like they're the only people who really see my posts. Right
Yeah, that's okay. That's how it starts. That's how it starts early on. Early on, really what you're looking to do is everyone has a marketing problem, right? Everyone's going to have a marketing problem. But when you're just getting started, it turns out you've got another problem before you have the marketing problem. And the problem that you have right now, Lily, is your job is to sell your art to people not named mom, dad, brother, family, friends, right? Because of course they would buy anything. So your next problem is you need to sell your art. You need to sell your is it art or photography? Art. You need to sell your art, both art and photography are all art. Okay. I don't want to get stuck in one of these things about semantics, which everyone beats me up. Jen, I'm looking at you because you're there. Jen's like, are photographers not artists? I didn't say that. God, I'm just kidding. It's an actual gigantic pain in my you-know-what about this business because I don't want to side tangent. Lily, let's get back on track. You need to sell your art to people not named mom, dad, brother, family, friends, right? Because that's the only way that you're going to know if you have a product the market actually wants, right? And early on, no one can tell you, Lily, except the market. Okay. And the reason I'm going on this rant is because you're young and I can get my hooks in you early and start setting up some good behaviors here. Okay. If I picked you up, Lily, at your house and drove to the closest ATM machine around the corner from your house, and you know what I'm going to say to you, Lily? This is an important lesson I'm teaching you here. Show me the buttons on that ATM machine for likes, comments, shares. I was in a juried art show. Everyone tells me my art is awesome. You won't find any of those buttons on the ATM machine, okay? So I don't want to hear about how many views you're getting on TikTok or how many likes and comments and shares or how everyone tells you you're awesome. The only thing I want to hear about is a credit card coming out of someone's wallet and going through your little cell phone reader because that is what you need to be laser focused on. And you'll never know. And you'll never know until you get your art in front of strangers. So I recommend doing a local show and or fair. It's totally easy to be dealing with friends and family early on, but until you start selling it to strangers, you don't know if you have a product the market wants. The good news is once you do that and you realize you do have a product the market wants, then you can have a marketing problem like all the rest of us. And come on in, the water's just fine. It never goes away. But that's what I would say you need to do. Do you live in a town big enough where you can do that and do that in short order?
Yes, I live in Indianapolis, and I was thinking I should just maybe email some restaurants and coffee houses about putting my art there. Is that like the first step, probably?
That's okay. I don't think that's a bad idea, and I think you'll get some good experience doing that. I'm totally down for you doing that, and usually, they love supporting local artists, so that's a cool way to do it. But I mean, there's got to be some sort of Indianapolis is a big enough city that there's got to be a show or a fair or an art fair, a craft show, or whatever it might be. Local art shows in the area is what I would probably start Googling. I know there's websites. I just know. And I want you in a booth. I mean, you should be able to get a booth for like $50, $75, $100 or something. And I want you to sit in it with all of your pieces for 8 hours or whatever the day is and talk to a bunch of strangers and see if you can sell it. If you can sell it, you're on the right track. Then you have a marketing problem. Until then, you don't know.
Okay, cool. I like that. Thank you.
Deal. Thanks, Lily. Okay. So I'm scrolling down. Cynthia says she does marketing for a living. I can't remember. You said you want more extreme. I don't know what that is. I might as well mute you, Cynthia. It's my brother's wife's name. I like that name. Cynthia. Did she go? I don't know if she's in here still. I can't find her in the chat, so I think she's gone. I don't know. It saves me the question. Got to teach an art class. Yep, it's not a bad idea. Gene, a QR code is like, the little barcode-y. I should probably just pull up what an example of a QR code is. That'll be more simple. So this is one of the amazing things about technology, right? Like, people have been saying QR codes are going to change the world for like 15 years. It's these looking things, right? And, you know, oh, have you seen what's going on in Korea? The Koreans scan advertisements on the way home and put things into their shopping cart that automatically get delivered or whatever else. Everyone was talking about how QR codes were going to change the world forever, right? Like, the iPhone has been able to scan one for like 10 years with an application. But what happened? All of a sudden, somewhere around the COVID times, every restaurant in America started putting them on their menus. And now all of us know how to scan a QR code, right? Like, I was never scanning them before. Now every restaurant I sit down in, you have to scan them. So that's what a QR code is. Mel's asking, do prints or originals sell most? Yeah, the premise of your question is wrong in the sense that, you know, if you know what's selling best and you create that, then you'll sell best. They all sell. It's good to have a balance of all of the above, and it's also really, really good to have a variation in price points, i.e. the originals are more expensive than the limited editions, or are more expensive than the open editions, and the sizes and everything else. All right, Ben's saying I'm managing and marketing artist. I can't. All right, Ben, I'm just going to mute you. Are you still in here? All right, Benjamin, you have to hit the mic icon. So you got to explain to me what you're doing. Give me a beat on this thing.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So yeah, I manage and I market some artists. I've done some work in marketing, and recently, about September, right? In September, some artists came to me. They wanted me to actually help them to market.
Okay.
So I'm managing them and marketing them and helping them to get out. They're a little bit older, have some great work, but it's unheard and unseen. So I'm trying to tap into and knock on some new doors for them. I created a digital gallery for them because they said their websites didn't work. But then when I went on their websites, it didn't have any way that you can actually purchase anything. So what I did was I created some digital galleries and I sent them out and to see if we would get any feedback or any engagement. And it didn't happen. And I'm wondering, you feel that digital galleries work, or do you feel like you actually need the person with the physical picture in their hand? And is that something I should request from my clients? They're not from here. I'm in Massachusetts. They're in New Orleans. Is it something I should request? Physical physical pictures?
I mean, yeah, it'll help. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, what's the best analogy I could give you in this capacity? You're sort of asking me, like, you know, I'm telling people to come into the restaurant, and is it best if the walls of the restaurant are green and the carpet's red, or if the carpet's red and the walls are green? And I'm saying, no, you have to stand outside of the restaurant with the hook and a whistle and get enough people in there. No one cares what color the floors are, right? So my point is that your problem is that you didn't get it in front of enough eyeballs. It didn't matter, digital gallery, not digital gallery, whatever else it is. These artists that are coming to you to solve the number one problem, which is marketing, right? No one, you know, they don't have a list. They don't have a list of active engaged buyers. If they did, they haven't taken care of them. So the active list doesn't know that what these people have been up to and if they've created new stuff. So, you know, what you're creating is less important than getting it in front of the eyeballs, right? And my guess is you probably took one shot at that. The results weren't great, and you're like, okay, well, where do I go from here? Where you go from here is send it 365 days a year and then come back and tell me where you're at, right? Like that's when you'll find out whether or not it's working. You know, you have to do active promotion and marketing and getting people's attention all year long. It doesn't just work right out of the gates.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say as you're contemplating that role for those folks, definitely listen to the podcast too. You'll pick up a ton of tricks.
I definitely will.
Yeah. Well, you look like you're working in a frame shop or something. I mean, you got all kinds of cool stuff going on the wall over there. I'm just curious, what's going on?
Well, I do designing houses too. I do people's homes. So this is the backdrop of my house. My kitchen wall is a lot of frames.
That's cool. Yeah.
I call it My Family Has No Face. So when my friends come over, I tell them to pick a frame and imagine and tell why they picked that particular frame. So it's art. I'm an artist on another level, but I never dealt with I'm not a painter. I'm more of a writer and a marketer.
I love it. I'd come over there for a drink. I played the frame game. I think it's a good conversation starter. It's a good one. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Okay. Marta, you're asking me niche questions. Yeah, I got you. The niche question's a really interesting one, Marta, and you'll need to unmute. You got to hit the hit the microphone icon. Just out of curiosity, where in the Pacific Ocean do you live exactly? I live in the Pacific Ocean too. Turns out the Pacific Ocean is really big.
I'm in Imperial Beach.
I know. I know Imperial Beach. I've been to Imperial Beach. Imperial Beach straddles the line between this country and another country.
Yes.
Yes. Imperial Beach is the last U.S. beach before you hit Tijuana.
There's a whole lot of marketing I can do. I'm kind of in overwhelm, actually. So I think
you are in good company, Marta. You are in good company.
That's good.
Notice a recurring theme on this call about how everyone is struggling with their marketing. So yes, trust me, I know.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm a professional person, so I don't think it's like confidence or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm ready to let my art self come more out,
mm-hmm.
Where I was using it for, helping people die, helping people grieve. And now that I'm retired, I want to kind of set that aside and, do that maybe on an emergency situation or something where I would take care of people or help people. But I really want to bring that inside out artist
mm-hmm.
out of me. And I've been painting, oil painting. I've been doing photography for years. I love it. I always get compliments. People always, save my photos, but I haven't ever sold anything.
Exactly why I was giving that advice to Lily, Marta. The likes and the compliments. But what you learn is like, the next time, so check this out, Marta. And then Marta goes, oh my gosh, your art is so fantastic. Sweet. Buy it. Buy it.
So
I'm selling it for $100, Marta. Get the credit card out of the wallet right now, right? Until you ask for the sale. They're just being nice and polite people. That's just
these are too big, right?
No, they're not too big. You can totally show that off. That totally works.
Totally show this off.
Yep. And then you could let people know that you're clearing out some excess inventory. Okay. Everything must go. No reasonable offer refused, and then shut up and see what happens. Right. And if nothing happens, then they're playing you lip service in the nicest of ways. Right. In the nicest of ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I need to be more bold, which I already am, but I just haven't been in this particular category.
And if you just learn the words "make me an offer," and all you have to do is just say "make me an offer." So okay, the only bravery you really have to have in this situation is, I need to clear everything out, so make me an offer. That's all you have to say. Then you just shut up, and then they'll do the rest of the talking, and then you'll find out.
Okay, I have been commissioned to paint, oil mm-hmm. paint from a photograph.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not getting started on it because I don't know when I get it done. Like, I don't know. I'm a completion person. I want to know the end of it, I guess. And that's not probably good.
Huh? I don't know. I don't even know what that meant. But as long as, if you got a commission, as long as you took a deposit, finish it and don't stress about it.
Oh, I didn't take a deposit. See?
Yep.
I just learned something. I should take a deposit.
Yes, definitely take a deposit. It's up to you. Really, at the end of the day, it's more important the nature of the transaction, the psychology of the transaction, than the dollar amount. I mean, you could take $25, you could take $50, but your rush doesn't move. Your rush doesn't move without some cold hard cash down on the line.
Okay. So I could paint it and then, no.
No, you take a deposit. You should probably agree on a price ahead of time, but that's up to you.
Too late now. I didn't do that.
It is probably too late now. Yeah, but finish it.
But I know a lot of people, and they mm-hmm. have a lot of money. So mm-hmm. if they like it, right, then they show it off. And it was an event on their vacation that was traumatizing for them, and and yet helped them grow too. So
love it.
That's a good thing, right?
Yep. And it's got a good story to it. That's how you get started.
Okay.
I want you listening to the podcast too.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. All right, Patrick. I like that name. You're up next. You'll need to unmute, Patrick. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep. Gotcha.
All right. Yes, I love what you said about just show it and make me an offer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a way to begin. Because I'm an old guy. I'm a lifetime professional actor, but I'm not famous.
Mm-hmm.
I vote for the Oscars and all that kind of thing. And mm-hmm. I have this artwork, which is really done with pencils and Sharpies.
Okay.
unusual, and I've sold a few.
Okay.
And I just I want to ask if this showing the piece on Instagram and Facebook is like the first step to go, because I've sold a couple from Facebook that were fans from. So is that the best way to start? Because I know I have to get on board with storefronts.
Yeah,
with
it's fantastic. It's an absolutely great way to start, right? And especially if you're getting the confirmation that the folks on there want to buy things. Like if you try a technique, a tactic, and it works and you get sales, yes sir, let's rinse and repeat on that one, right?
Okay.
You could.
All right. Well,
you could certainly, given the fact that you're an actor too, it probably would be nice to put that skill set to work, in the sense that A, you're extremely comfortable behind a camera, B, you're really, really good at that. So, I would imagine some live art shows would probably be an extremely effective technique and/or tactic for you.
All right. Well, thank you. The pieces are small, and I need to experiment with the metal thing and enlarging pieces. So
you definitely do. You definitely do. I love small pieces though. I love small pieces because you know what you do? You have a bathroom art sale. Okay. You're going to be like, look,
what?
Bathroom art sale, right? Small pieces, small walls, bathrooms. Everyone has them. It's just a really creative way to have a sale, right? You're like, look, you guys all have bathrooms. Okay. You all have powder rooms, right? I know they don't look awesome. And so I'm having this sale because these pieces are the perfect size for the bathroom. They're not gigantic. No one has a huge bathroom.
I love it because I have a bathroom like that.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And your guests are bored in there. Okay. And you guys are blowing it. You don't want anyone to have a shitty time. So let's get involved in this bathroom sale and see where we go. Right. And you do that and it'll work great.
That's great. I'm going to do it.
I love it.
Thank you. And let somebody in who's got a more pertinent question. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Patrick. You might actually be the last one, Patrick. I don't know. If there's anyone else, go ahead and raise a hand or fire a question in the chat. I would be more than happy to answer. Yeah, Marta, all you have to do is just go get a demo. The demo is like, it's the test drive. It's a 1-hour Zoom call with somebody on our outreach team. They'll walk you through all the ins and outs and show you everything and the pricing and the packages and all that jazz. And then you can decide from there, sort of make your mind up what you want to do. But yeah, we'll have somebody contact you. That's great. Yeah. Other than that, thanks guys. Today was fun. Good session. Good session for a Monday, kicking a whole nother week off. Yeah. Trying to think what else. Subscribe to the podcast, get a demo. Now is a particularly good time to start too, because you get to, get through the holidays, survive. I know most of you are not going to have a sale. I wish you would have a sale, but I know it's not possible. It's scary. It's friction filled, but starting the year off right, in January with the energy and motivation that, the new year gives you a great shot to get going. And I think we're going to raise our prices in January. So it's another thing to contemplate. We keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to the offering and what we do at a whole. So it's just been getting better and better and better, which is great. So, all right. I think we will leave it there. I appreciate you guys all. Have great weeks. All. Marta, make me an offer and then shut up and see what they say. Okay. Just practice it a couple of times. It'll be good. John, let's get some revenue sources going. Let's get some revenue sources going. And yeah, Courtney, to answer your question, you would just request a demo. And yes, I promise I'll send all the links after the fact. You guys will get an email from me in like an hour or something. You'll get an email from me like you don't get thousands of emails from me already. Okay, how much do we email? It's disgusting how much we email. It's out of control. And yeah, Marta, that's kind of part and parcel of what we do. Like, we have these sessions called office hours. We're basically a college, you guys. I mean, I'm not kidding. At the end of the day, it's what it feels like. We're like a college, and we have internal Zoom sessions with our customers multiple days a week, just like this, going over every single solitary thing imaginable. And we teach you whatever the thing is. And then everyone comes on and talks about their problems. And then, you know, because they're private and internal Zoom sessions, myself, members of my staff can scream and yell and rant and poke and prod, and you get to know everybody, and it's a group of like-minded peers. It's actually really cool. It's really fun on the inside. We talk a whole bunch of trash and just generally have a good time, but we keep everyone accountable, right? We keep everyone actually marketing consistently, which no one ever does, which is the whole ballgame. But okay, I'm running out of gas. I appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your weeks. I hope to see you again soon.